Turn me up. Tony back at it with another reaction video on this lovely Wednesday night. So I just thought I'd come here with a quick little video because I already told you we're reacting all 2025. So the title of this video that I'm going to be reacting to is called The Art of Instant Gratification. This is going to be very informative, very inspiring. I would hope so. And there's going to definitely be a learning lesson by the time we end this video. So without further ado, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're about to get into the video. Let's get it.
What do you do and how much do you make?
I am an content creator and a full service worker. In December, I think.
Wait, hold on. I just see that it bleeped it out and it looked like it had an inappropriate logo. So it looks like Shorty might be diving into OnlyFans and all that. Did she just say she was a worker? I don't know what the guidelines and the policies of YouTube, but did she just say she was a sex worker? Listen. For all you women out there, there's different things that you can do instead of putting your bodies on display for some money. I'm gonna keep it real with you. But at the end of the day, you're a grown woman. You're gonna do whatever you want to do. I believe in the Bible. I believe in God. I believe in modesty is honesty. You know, but I don't want to be that guy. But I'm gonna be that guy. So I think there's definitely different things that you can get into that's more honest and more reasonable. So we're not gonna get into all that. That's besides the point.
I think I took home like 25 to 30K.
That's a lot of money though. 25 to 30K. She making money though. I can't hate. You know, she making money, but that comes with a cost. You know, all money ain't good money, sis.
Did you get into that role?
I started childhood modeling.
What kills most people's dreams?
Addiction to instant gratification. Alex Hormozy said, the longer you can keep going without seeing the results of your efforts, the bigger you'll be able to win in life. The truth is, 99% of people just end up giving up before the results catch up to their efforts.
That's true. How many people you know who start a New Year's resolution after 2 weeks, they back to eating junk food, they back to being sedentary, not working out, and they back to their old habits? You know, because people expect that when you start something that it comes overnight. When you see the most successful people, whether if it's athletes, actors, actresses, business people, musicians, whatever it is that you do, it all takes time. Every day you got to wake up, you got to be the same person. You like every single day, day in and day out. And over 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 and over. Like that's what it is. You know, but most people give up because their expectations, you know, they don't want to play the long game. They just want it right away. But sometimes, you know, God makes you wait for that because there's a lot of things that you got to learn on the way to that wherever you're trying to get to in life that you must know. You know, I heard this one quote once said, it said, it is better to travel than it is to arrive. That means appreciate the journey. Appreciate the journey.
On your road to success, there will be trials and tribulations in the form of people, pain, and opportunities. Instant gratification is one of the main ones that everybody has to overcome at some point because it's a test of how long can you wait your turn. How long can you stay on your path and not be tempted by others? Will you take the $10,000 today, or will you wait an extra month and get the $1 million that you've been waiting for all along?
I'm going to wait the extra month, the million. But the thing is, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people, they just feel like, all right, give it to me right away. Not knowing that there could be something better for you in the long run. How many people you know that are one-hit wonders? You know, they got the instant fame, success, and they lost it right after. No longevity, no nothing. Nothing to show for it. But the people who play the long game, like your top artists, like the J. Coles, the Drakes, and all them people, you know, it's work ethic. It's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of highs, a lot of lows, a lot of setbacks, a lot of trials, tribulations, but that all plays part in the journey. So when you do get that blessing, when you do wait your turn, it would be more meaningful. It will be a reason for it. You appreciate it. But if we just got anything that we wanted just like that, how would we truly appreciate it?
We live in a world where everything is driven by instant gratification, even down to the way you eat. Instead of taking your own time to go and get some food, you can press a couple of buttons, then wait from the comfort of your home. And if you want, you can goon while waiting for your food. When life becomes that, art becomes that. Because the art of any given period is just a reflection of life at that given time and what's in those people's hearts. So after hearing all those examples of how easy it is to pleasure yourself modern day in every way possible with very low effort, and sometimes even at the expense of others, it is no.
And don't do that. Listen, we in 2025. You should not be on the hub, not be on the X. Come on. Like I said, it all comes back to the place of instant gratification. Practice retention, practice semen retention. Hold your vital life force. You don't gotta be doing that just to get. Listen. Learn how to not be so quick to feed into your temptations and your urges. That is one of the main things. If you got a sweet tooth and you know you damn well you've been on a diet for about a month, keep eating it. Keep eating them fruits and vegetables. Keep eating them healthy foods. Not saying that you can't have a sweet tooth, but like I said, you either suffer now or you suffer later. There's going to be some type of form of suffering in between. Which way you put it. Choose your heart. Work hard so you can play later.
No surprise that our world is getting a lot colder. It's harder to find videos that brighten up your day instead of dim it with drama. Or it's harder to find music that picks you up when you're feeling low instead of comforting you deeper into your depression. Our hearts are tainted. Instant gratification is one of the 7 deadly sins of your dreams. There's no way you can stay focused and wait your turn if you fall for instant gratification all the time. You ever heard of the term here today, going tomorrow, laugh now, cry later? That's instant gratification and what it does to a lot of people in their careers. With that, let me explain to you the art of instant gratification, or maybe a more fitting title for this video is the destruction.
Why can't
all
I
these
make
ads
changes without an admin approval? Why?
With Monday.com
of instant gratification. It was October of the year 2014, and a 21-year-old Lebanese woman had dreams of acting and being a model. She lost weight after being overweight her whole life and recently got a poo job done so she could get past her insecurity and to ultimately look more desirable for her modeling career. And randomly one day, it seemed like she finally got a break when an agent walked up to her, noticed her beauty, and gave her a compliment, and then later went on to invite her to a studio he worked at for a modeling opportunity.
You were spotted. What was it in you that from far from running away was drawn into it?
It was more so, oh, you're beautiful. Like, would you like to do some modeling? Oh, you have a great body. Like,
we already know who this is. I'm not going to get into further details. This is one of the women that's destroying the masculinity of a lot of men. So I don't support this whatsoever. Even though I'm not going to put the blame on her, a lot of it has to do with men gaining that instant gratification, because you want by the click of a button, you pull up your phone and there it is, all your energy gone, because you want to be intrigued and be tempted by this succubus, because you need it instantly. You need that gratification, even though you feel drained after, you feel depleted, you feel miserable. And that is a prime example of what goes into instant gratification. You might feel good in the moment, but damn sure you ain't going to feel good later on. That's with anything you do. So always remember that. So whatever you do, wherever you are in life, keep doing it. You might be skipping parties, hanging out with your friends, hooking up, doing all this stuff. It'll all pay off in the long run. But you got to stay consistent. You got to stay locked in. You got to have tunnel vision. If you're feeding into instant gratification, you're just going to keep setting yourself back. So always remember that. So next time you pull up them websites, or next time, you see what's the name of it? What is the name of it? Damn, I can't think of it. Besides the point, next time you get tempted, always remind yourself. It's either I suffer now or I can suffer later. But just know that each action is going to come with a consequence, good or bad. So if you don't feed into the instant gratification, then the consequence of that will be you bettering yourself in the long run. But if you do, you're just going to be damaging yourself. So, like I said, it is a consequence. So choose wisely.
I think you'd be great in nude modeling, things like that. And after I came and toured the studio, it was, do you want to do this? Like sign the paperwork, et cetera, et cetera.
So these guys, they just saw you, frankly, as a money machine.
Absolutely. And once I did that, I started garnering all of this attention from men, and I was never used to it. And I felt like unless I held on to it and kind of did what was asked of me or what was expected of me, it would go away. And after feeling what it was like, that validation and, the compliments for the first time, I did not want that to go away.
The sad thing about it, she will always be known as that. Whenever there's jobs or opportunities that she wants to do in the long run, by that decision, she doesn't know that it was going to impact her and affect her in the long run. So whenever she tries to get into something else, she might want to be an actor. She might really want to get into modeling. She might want to get into something that's more lucrative than that industry. And guess what? Everybody's going to be like, hey, aren't you such and such? Instant gratification. It could damage you. It could damage you, ruin your reputation. People look at you different. Imagine what her family might be thinking, her friends. Do you think this woman doesn't go home and cry herself to sleep at night after a long day worth of work? You don't think so? You think she's just happy? Most people who drown in instant gratification, they're not usually happy. They're happy in that moment. It might feel good in the moment. But when you laying down in your bed and it's late at night and you start thinking, you're like, damn, I really regret doing that. I really regret eating that piece of cake when I knew I should have just been eating my fruits and vegetables. I really regret going out with that girl when I should have just remained celibate. I regret giving that guy a chance when I told him that I was waiting until marriage. I've been 3 months sober and clean, and I regret from going out for one night. Now I'm back to square one. It felt good in the moment, but damn sure it feels like ish right now.
She accepted that position that she knew wasn't right in her heart because she got instant gratification, or more accurately, instant validation. Replace gratification at the end of instant gratification with anything you like or want to do. Instant pleasure, instant friends, instant love, instant food. Anything that is instant and doesn't take time to cultivate will never stand the test of time. And more importantly, when you choose the pleasures of today over the self-control of today that will bring the success of tomorrow, you will also inherit those negative effects of today tomorrow. You'll laugh now and you'll cry later. Mia Khalifa's biggest driving factor for doing this was because she didn't love herself. She didn't feel validated by anybody in her life. She didn't trust in herself to wait her turn for her career. And to make it worse, I found out today that during her whole career in this industry, she only made $12,000, $1,000 a video.
That's crazy. So not only on top of that, you on the far end of broke, especially in today's economy. I don't know her person. I don't know if she has any businesses or any investments, but that's not a lot of money. So now you got to deal with the reality that you didn't make not a damn thing from that industry. And on top of that, now your reputation and legacy is tarnished. You're always going to be remembered as that girl who participated in those acts. And that's a sad reality. I would pray for this woman. Because that's sad. You know, a lot of people, they fall into that same trap. It's the same. It's no difference from the street life. People who grow up in the hood and they feel like they gotta deal drugs and stuff like that because the fast money. You know, getting in that lifestyle. You know, you want the cars, the jewelry, the women, the money, and it's all gonna come back first full circle at some point in time. Just because you didn't want to just grind it out. You wanted the instant gratification. See, I look at it like this. Instant gratification is of the devil. But patience, perseverance, hard work, discipline, dedication is from God. But see, when it comes with those qualities, when you're trying to do something in life, it holds more validity and there's more longevity. So when you build a foundation off of those principles of God, of hard work, perseverance, of learning, understanding, like really going through the mud, it definitely has much more value to it. If I gave you $1 billion right now, instantly, and you wanted it right there and now, and you can get it anytime you want, how would you truly appreciate it? You just blow through your money. But if somebody who put in the groundwork, you know, expanded their resources, worked hard, dedicate themselves to get that $1 million, it's much more meaningful. You appreciate it a lot more because you know what you had to go through to get it. That's the beauty behind it. That's the level of appreciation. You appreciate the things that you had to fight for, not the things that are handed to you.
And mind you, there was a point where she was the most searched woman online and the top influencer on websites. And she only made $12,000 because she signed a bad contract and took the instant gratification.
That's crazy.
That's how it works. She got that instant $12,000, that instant validation from all those guys. But at what cost? She got a delayed lifetime of shame, loss of privacy, emptiness.
And you've moved on, but
exactly.
Do you think there is some sort of post-traumatic stress that is in you from this experience?
Yes, and I think it kicks in mostly when I go out in public. The stares I get, I feel like people can see through my clothes, and it brings me deep shame. It makes me feel like I lost all right to my privacy, which I did because I'm one Google search away.
When you take that instant gratification over your own dreams, goals, and visions, you may feel good initially, but as time goes on, you'll be left feeling more and more empty because all you can think about is what would have happened if you would have stayed on your path. Why do you think guys get post-nut clarity and then feel terrible right after? One person who is a living testimony to this, in a warning I hope all of you watching heed, is Suki Hana. In 2019, she was an up-and-coming rapper who was desperately trying to get signed. She worked with no avail or any break in sight. That wasn't until she got a chance to sign with Colin Boulevard's Entertainment. But like a lot of rappers who are desperately trying to make it out of their situation, she didn't fully read the contract. So not until after signing did she realize that she had no control over her art, image portrayed to the public, or even her life in a sense. She sold her soul, aka her freedom. She later went online to share with the world this reality that overwhelmed her.
I want to tell y'all I apologize and I'm sorry for what I'm about to say, but as far as this music stuff, I won't be doing this music stuff anymore. I started this because this was my dream, and you know, I wanted to make sure I could get me and my kids out the hood. It's always been my passion to rap. A while ago, I had signed a contract and I didn't know nothing about the business or this game out here. And just right now, I'm realizing that I signed my soul. I sold my soul to the devil. I signed myself to the devil. I don't even own myself no more. And I done prayed. I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. You know, it's just like, I don't know if God can get me out of this, you know, and I just want to say I'm sorry to my fans. I know y'all.
Well, that's a bold statement. God can get you out of anything, but you have to be willing to want to get out of it. You know, if you're compromised and you're only calling on God because you want to get out of this situation because it no longer suits you or benefits you, then, you know, God is not a genie in a bottle. You knew what you were signing up for. You you wanted to get into this music game is right away without so are you going to continue making music in that realm, or are you going to completely change and get out of it? That's the kicker. A lot of these celebrities say that, but they're still playing by the game. They're still playing by the rules. So, not saying that there's no grace, but you also have to take the initiative. You got to be held accountable for all your actions. We all do. Not to say that you're not human, you're not going to make mistakes, you're going to mess up. We're not going to fault you at that. But it's now, what are you going to do from here on out? Are you going to keep making music that's detrimental to the women in our community? Or are you going to make something more positive? Are you going to serve God? Are you going to repent? Are you going to turn from the type of promiscuous lifestyle that you've been promoting and promote a lifestyle full of modesty, being chaste, being humble? That's how God can get you out of it. But if you keep making music about Birkin bags and this, that, and the third, then you can't call on God just because you realize now you can't spend none of the money that you worked hard on, that you sold your rights and you sold your soul, you sold your likeness, your image, you sold everything to a record label that gives nothing about you. But this goes back to instant gratification. You got to read these contracts. People are so fixated by money and vanity, bro. Read the contract, bro. It is not that much money in the world for you to sit there and compromise your integrity, compromise your art, compromise your right. It is not that amazing. Every person who becomes successful in that industry always makes a video or a claim of how miserable that they are. Clearly, it ain't that great. So, you gotta do something different.
Love me. I know y'all believe in me, but I didn't know what I was doing back then, and I lost passion. I don't even believe in myself no more because of what I did. I did not know the game was like this, and I'm just ready to go back to school. I just made the biggest mistake that I ever made, and I just hope, if you're an artist, make sure you have an attorney to read over your contract, and don't let the person that you signed it to pick the attorney. Don't let them pay for the attorney either, because that means the attorney working for them.
Instant success, delayed effects. Instant food, delayed cancer. Instant love, delayed red flags. And if you look at her now, ever since that video, although she has the money and the validation she wanted, she's obviously empty inside, the same way Mia Khalifa described.
Everybody was picking this video up about, this bad deal that you signed.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about that. A lot of people talk about the video. And during that time, like, I be real sensitive when they on their period. Like, I always be crying on my period. And I did not know how this game was. I didn't know the business. And I just know if somebody flaunt a couple dollars at me and they like, well, listen, we could do this for you. We could do this. People say, well, I thought you sold your soul to the devil. Like, sold my soul to the devil. I'm like, I love making money. I get money always. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get rich.
So that's selling your soul to the devil. When you're going to do anything and everything to get $1, and that means compromising your very sense of morality, your ethics, then yes, you sold your soul to the devil, sis. So, and it looks like she content because she's still in the industry. I mean, look at this. You got the money right here. Listen, she just, that's how, and that's what it brought me back to, brings me back to my point, where it's just like, are you going to keep living this lifestyle and promoting these things? Just because now you getting money. You getting this, that, and the third. But at what expense? Instant gratification, bro. The world prides itself off of that. The world prides itself. It's idolatry. The money, the lifestyle, the things that people yearn for on a day-to-day basis, where all we should only be concerned with and worried about is food, water, clothes, shelter, and a sense of well-being which all God can provide. But we worry about the wrong things. And this is how we end up in situations like this. Because of greed, because of pride. This is exactly why. It says in the Bible, what profit the man if he were to gain the whole world but loses his soul? It's something to think about.
Where you want to be.
A telltale sign to somebody who lacks a lot internally is when you're in an argument with them or you try to bring up valid points to them and the first thing they throw out there is money. And Sukihana had to pay that ultimate price. The same as Mia Khalifa. She is seen as a public tool at this point who just makes degenerate music, which there's nothing wrong with. But if you look at that,
there's something very wrong with that, because little girls are looking up to that. You can sit there, oh, well, it's the parents' job to make sure. Yeah, it is the parents' job. But you know who else's job it is? To make sure that they're setting a good rapport, setting a good example. It's the artist's job, because music is powerful. There's a lot of power and responsibility that comes with being an artist or being someone who's of influence. You know that there's going to be people looking up to you, especially children. They're the impressionable minds. So as an adult, you should understand your power and your platform and use it in a proper manner. Comes great power, comes great responsibility. Why use it to destroy our community, destroy women, the mind of women? Why use it for gang music? Why use it to just put more destruction in the black community? Granted, everybody makes their own decision. They make their own choices. It's up to the people to start changing the narrative, to start listening to better people and more positive, uplifting music. But at the end of the day, if this is what all they're getting, a lot of people, sometimes the change is within somebody telling them to change. If they can see it physically, then that might give people, a different perspective. If we had more people who thought highly, and I'm trying to find a word for it, like people who just thought more positive and who spread more love and more positivity, you never know how that can create a chain reaction. But people want to just keep doing all this negative, and look where it's getting us. It's getting us nowhere. Look how these women act. Look how these men act. Look how relationships are. Look how the youth is.
That Suki video versus Suki now, I don't think this is what her younger self would have wanted for her today. And that's something we often forget when we say delayed effects. It doesn't just apply to you. It applies to those who come after you as well. What you leave behind today is what will be picked up, studied, and mimicked by those of tomorrow, which is why you have to be very careful what you put out there. It's why somebody like a Sexy Red is so dangerous. She is the living embodiment of instant gratification. Everything she does, everything she raps about, is all about how you feel today. And because a certain group of people, Black people, is a race of people where a good majority is driven by instant gratification, she is a perfect tool used by those who benefit off us staying in this instant gratification mindset.
Exactly. My point exactly. And that is very destructive to our community. Because, like I said, what we care about, money, cars, clothes, and hoes. That's it. And running down on ops. You don't hear that in country music. You don't hear that in any other genre of music. Why is it only in black music and rap and hip hop do we hear these type of things being talked about? Oh, it's relatable. Who made it relatable? Who made it cool to want to be a part of that culture? Who made it cool to be idolizing those things? Hip hop originally started from just having fun. Party. I say the hip hop, the hippie, to the hip hop, and don't stop. What happened to that? What happened to that very essence, that innocence? What you put up, what you pick up will be left behind. Somebody else can tailor to it. Somebody else is going to be inspired by it in one way or another. That's why you gotta be careful for what you say and what you represent, because there's eyes on you, and people are monkey see, monkey do. I hate to say it, but a lot of people, they don't know how to think for themselves. That's why it's so dangerous to send out this type of message to the world, because people are going to eat it up and they're going to think that is the representation of what it means to be quote unquote cool or accepted. You know, people want to fit in. Half of the time, these people who listen to this music, they probably like other things. They probably like different types of music. But you know what? When they get around a group of friends, that's who they blasting, because now this is culturally appropriate. Instant gratification. Sexy Red blew up out of nowhere. Where did she come from? I don't know. Industry plant? Maybe.
Female artists, black ones specifically, are no longer talking about love, what is actually in their heart. They're delayed feelings of life because they don't want to take that longer route of becoming artists. They instead talk about instant feelings, instant sex, things that they may not always feel. Like, I mean, there's so many female artists who talk about, you know, cheating on people, leaving dudes, but come to find out behind the scenes, they actually got boyfriends and husbands. But they do that because they see a Sexy Red who got instant validation and gratification, money from that, so they follow suit right behind. As I said, us today, what we do will be picked up, studied, and mimicked by those tomorrow.
It's looking better, got a stupid butt. Jewelry on your wrist, hold it up.
That's sad. What happened to the wheels on the bus go round and round? You got girls who are not even old enough to have an understanding of what Sexy Red is talking about, but they sitting on the bus bumping to it like it's nothing. That's what I mean. It's the impressionable minds. Now you're already conditioning them to think a certain way. About time they 16, 17, 18, and older when they start dealing with boys. Now you already conditioned them to think like, hey, this is cool. I want to be like Sexy Red when I get older. I don't want to be like Michelle Obama. I don't want to be like Lauryn Hill. I want to be like Sexy Red. That's the representation that we're sending amongst all the youth. It's sad, man. It's sad.
The good thing about this, though, is there's not much to really worry about, because those who enjoy the instant feelings of the summer and neglect the delayed effects of winter often freeze and have no food in the cold times. So as much as people hate on individuals like these women, one, it's never cool to hate on women or anybody for real at that. But two, the natural order of things will always restore and self-correct.
Nothing wrong with Sexy Red. I'm not saying she's the worst person. I'm not saying any of them are bad people, but it goes back to your instant gratification. It goes back to the idea of what you represent, and just because you want the instant gratifying things, money, cars, clothes, and living this lifestyle that has no value, that leaves you empty and full of regret, because we want to keep regurgitating the same message that gets us nowhere. There's no progress in that. So it's not about hating Sexy Red and all these women who keep making the same repetitive music, but it's about the message that's behind it. That's the problem. It's not to say you hating on her. It's not. But it's about what she's representing for the people who listen to her. You might have a daughter one day. Yes, it's your job to raise her and make sure that she's on the right path and listening to more uplifting and more positive music, but trust and believe, she may come across that. And there's might be nothing you can do about that. So that's why we hold the artist more accountable.
On its own time. So deny yourself now and receive everything later, or give yourself everything today at the cost of tomorrow. And that's the true art, and more importantly, the destruction of instant gratification. Yo, I appreciate y'all watching the video. Go check out my Instagram for sure, and go follow my Twitch because I'm gonna start streaming soon.
Go follow Alex the Virgo. You know, we just chopped it up with this video. Listen, what he said was facts. It's nothing but the truth, and we just gotta let that be known. Like, yo, instant gratification could be detrimental to whatever it is that you're trying to do in life. So whatever you're doing, stay on that path. Keep disciplining yourself. Stick to the goal at hand, because it'll all pay off. Don't buy into the fact of what you want and how fast you want it. You know, there's a reason that God may have you waiting There might be some things you have to learn about yourself, some things you got to learn about other people, and that's just the way it is. And it will be more meaningful and more valuable in the long run, instead of just getting it right away and then ended up losing it and destroying yourself in the process of that. So I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all hit that like button, comment down below, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. I want to hear from you people, the good people. And I might start another reaction. What time is it? So yeah, I might start another video tonight. We'll see. But I just want to give all praises to the Most High God and my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You didn't tune in with another video with Turn Me Up Tony. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.